Tonight show that joke TBD. Oh, someone is getting fired. I'm your host, Ella Yurman. Breaking news. Former President Donald Trump was found guilty on all 34 counts of falsifying business records. Trump convicted. You know what that means. Nothing. Oh. Look, worst case scenario, Trump can still become president. Best case scenario, Trump can still be a guest on the show. Sentencing isn't until July 11th, but the judges said that incarceration is truly a last resort. Oh man, for real? Can't it be like a second or third resort? On the one hand, it feels gross to be rooting for carceral solutions which we know are bad. But on the other, incredibly satisfying hand, that stupid right in his crime doing face, you know? Look, don't get me wrong. I think felons should get to be president. Actually, you know what? Democrats should replace Joe Biden with a convicted felon who can actually win against Trump. That's right, Martha Stewart. Get in, mama. Maybe Hillary would have won if she were friends with Snoop and less publicly involved in Benghazi. Ultimately, the Trump verdict doesn't matter much to me because he probably won't face any consequences. But to boomers, this is their Megan Thee Stallion concert. Nancy Pelosi just sent a mass text that says, "Urgent, I need money for Coke." Boomers are so excited that they're writing Hamilton 2, Too Ham, Too Ilton. This time with an all-white cast. No matter what happens, boomers will always have May 30th. I mean, what else do they have? Wooden bowls from Crate and Barrel, retirement savings, a will to live. Must be nice. We've got a great show for you tonight. We've got an up-and-coming Asian entrepreneur, an investigation into why Silicon Valley is like that. Sydney Gish is here. But first, Shania Twain announced unprompted that she stands naked in front of a mirror to get comfortable with her body, saying, quote, "I want to know it's there." Unlike me, who stands naked in front of the mirror and hopes that it's no longer there. In a speech at Benedictine College, Kansas City Chiefs kicker and chastity belt Gumby Harrison Butker warned of the dangers of gay pride and gender ideology, all while wearing a cheetah print tie. That would be like me warning of the dangers of cops while blowing through a stop sign and punching a protester. The NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell defended Butker, stating, "We have executives around the league that have a diversity of opinions, and that's something that we treasure, and that's part of, I think, ultimately what makes us as a society better." In other news, the NFL now owes Colin Kaepernick $20 million, a Super Bowl ring, and a sloppy blowjob. Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett recently implied that Marjorie Taylor Greene had a, quote, bleach blonde, bad-built, butch body. And I would just like to say to anyone out there with a bleach blonde, bad-built, butch body, call me. A new study found that crows can vocally count up to 4. So what? I can do that. 1, 2, 4, fuck. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas was diagnosed with terminal brain cancer yesterday. Okay, that's not true, but see how good it felt? Lady Gaga recently revealed that she performed 5 Chromatica Ball tour shows while sick with COVID and never canceled, which I honestly find inspiring as someone who dreams of killing multiple arenas worth of gay guys. Israeli Prime Minister and the most bloodthirsty Philadelphian since Gritty, Benjamin Netanyahu, called a brutal tent attack in Rafah that killed 45 Palestinians a tragic accident. Hey, I have an idea. Does anyone want to tragically accident Netanyahu? Just days later, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley was seen writing "finish them" on Israeli artillery shells. In her defense, she thought they were being fired at her former campaign staff. The move has caused guillotine stock to go up 20 points. Chop, chop, bitch! Pope Francis recently said that there was too much forchigania or fatness in the church. Sir, the problem isn't fatness, it's that they keep touching the children. Moving on to our first story of the night. It's AAPI month, and we want to honor small businesses. Here to talk about her brand is Asian American small business owner Ann Lim.
Thanks, Ella. It's great to be here. But to be honest, it's a frustrating time to be a small business owner in the Asian American community.
What do you mean?
Have you ever heard of David Chang? You know, Momofuku, those little cakes that look like the old Jojo Siwa?
Yeah?
Well, last month, Chang tried to trademark Chili Crunch, and he sent cease and desist letters to a bunch of Asian American small businesses, profiting off his identity while simultaneously hurting vulnerable members of the community. He's the living embodiment of how corporate representation doesn't actually benefit the marginalized.
Sure, yeah, we see that in June with corporate pride.
Someone needs to do something about this, and that someone is me. Which is why I, Ann Lim, am trademarking AAPI.
Wait, what?
Look, the problem is that AAPI in 2024 is too broad and undefined as a political category, beyond just representation. So the solution is to narrow and define it, which is why AAPI now stands for An American Perfect Individual. All Asian Americans can now rally behind me, one perfect Ann.
Shouldn't people be rallying around political demands for the marginalized, like universal health care or accessible childcare?
I am marginalized, Ella. I live in a women's shelter.
You do?
An apartment in Dumbo that shelters me, perfect Ann. And one perfect idea I had in that apartment, I'm trademarking Chili Crunch.
What? Wait, that's exactly what David Chang was trying to do. You were just mad about it.
David Chang is a millionaire, okay? I'm just a thousandaire ever since my parents cut me off for taking a party bus to my grandmother's funeral. Which, by the way, I was the first Asian American woman to do that. And at the end of the day, right, at the end of the day, you get to the wake, you get to the wake. Whatever. Look, I'm of the people now. I used to take limes from cocktail bars and throw them on the ground as a bit. But now I put them straight in my bag. Which makes my trademarking and leadership ethical, inclusive, and carbon neutral. I haven't fully done the math on that. But to make an Asian American do math if she doesn't want to. I mean, sorry, that's literally racist.
Oh my God, Ann, I'm so sorry. Ann, I'm so sorry.
So it's called AAPI Chili Crunch.
Sometimes being Asian feels weird. Most times it feels normal. With every purchase, you empower the first Asian American woman who's solving the male loneliness epidemic by making men buy dinner for her.
If my parents could see this, they'd be so proud. They're alive, obviously, but they're very busy.
My immigrant parents were forced to flee to America after doing some really bad stuff in Dubai. But I've committed no crimes in this particular endeavor, and even if I did, our community has no room for snitches. And this shit sucks.
What? How dare you? Everything for this business was typed out on an Asian-owned MacBook.
So your MacBook.
You're getting it. The Chili Crunch is just the beginning. It's actually a way to get attention around my new startup that needs Series A funding. Apple started in a garage. Facebook started in a dorm. And my community-focused startup started at a bar in Bushwick after I stole a guy's credit card and maxed it out on the real. It's called Aparna, and it's Klarna for white guys with Asian girlfriends.
That's it?
Anything bought with Aparna actually gets shipped straight to my house. It disadvantages Asian girlfriends around the country, but it helps me, a woman who kisses babies on the street because I know they like it. Bald perverts. And I'd love for you to invest.
And if we had investor money, this show would have a desk that wasn't held together by duct tape. And also, no, that's exactly the same thing that David Chang was doing.
Oh, David David Chang this, David Chang that. Ella, can you even name a single other Asian American?
Of course I can. God, I mean, there's got... Miranda Cosgrove?
Wrong. We were all wrong. Learning that Miranda Cosgrove isn't Asian is actually why BTS joined the military.
That can't be right.
But that's where my app, Asian American Celeb Tracker, even the biracials, comes in. It generates a list of every Asian American celebrity and also Joseph Gordon-Levitt with their locations, so you can find them and thank them for being visible wherever they go.
Okay, yeah, that's just stalking. I think you should go. All of this is just reinforcing that rich people get to decide who and what is represented.
Okay, just please hear out one last thing. It's really important. So, you know how facial recognition technology is designed to recognize white faces?
Yeah.
So my newest startup is making the first AI recognition software that can tell Asian faces apart with 99% precision. Representation is flawed, but Asian Americans still deserve to feel seen, even if it's without their knowledge and by the NYPD on subway cameras.
Okay, so what started this chili crunch is now you advancing the surveillance state?
Yerp.
What's next, Anne? You're gonna steal everyone's biometric data and
put it in a database for the government to cherish. Just to appreciate and use in a court of law for whatever they want? Exactly.
And if that isn't the worst idea I have ever heard...
Okay, so we already have Simu Liu in, but we are looking for more investors
We
at
have
this time.
got to vet our guests better, oh my god.
Okay, Ella, please, seriously, I have sunk so much money into this and I don't have a lot of time. The feds have been on me because they were jealous of my last startup. Uber Eats, but it can only order from the furthest coffee shop on the other side of town, and legally it cannot ask you to tip. and they were mad about the one before that, Instacart, but the Instacarter pays. And the one before that, a self-driving car that looks like a bus, so you can drive in the bus lane and hit whatever biker you want. Which are all really good ideas if people don't get all mad at you for embezzlement. I'm the first Asian American to do all of that. Ella, I'm begging you, I can't go to prison, okay? The prison population is only 1.5% Asian American, and I feel like no one's gonna wanna invest in there.
And is there anything you can offer that isn't just rallying around someone being the first Asian American to do something evil?
Look, it's not like we're gonna get student loan debt relief or other real things that would help the Asian American community. So, yeah, who cares if I try to make it about me? What? Oh, what? What? You want me to? Oh, Ella wants me to start a charity. Oh, Ella wants me to read a book. I don't know how to do that yet.
And what about the future? What about colleges connecting the struggles from Palestine to Kashmir? What about Asian American groups like Red Canary Song advocating for sex workers? And what about some other stuff that my Asian American writers listed that I forgot about?
Ella, if you don't invest, I'm gonna tell everyone that you don't think Indians or Filipinos count as Asian.
And Lynn, everybody! We'll be right back. And now, here to enjoy her Rumspringa and decide whether or not she will be returning to the Amish community, Sydney Gish!
to Amazon. I wanna write a list. I wanna pepper it with everything unvalidated. I wanna see if you'd agree. That's all fine with me. Going on the line of reality and the mud in your minds where the sidewalk ends. It's the only place we can be good friends. I wanna circle you like a rabbit cord in both my shoes. For fun we just assume characters and never get confused. I wanna play a song nobody ever in the world interprets wrong. If that's hilarious, I don't care at this point. All that I know is my head. That's all fine with me. Going on the line of reality and the mud in your minds where the sidewalk ends. It's the only place we can be good friends. We can be good friends. We can be good friends. That's all fine with me. Going on the line of reality and the mud in your mind where the sidewalk ends. It's the only place we can be good friends. We can be good friends. Be good friends. Thank you.
Welcome back! For our main story tonight, the government is finally reckoning with big tech. The Justice Department is trying to break up Apple's monopoly. Congress is looking at the effects of social media on kids, and the FBI is investigating whether pussy really is in bio.
Virgin.
No, I had sex once in 2014. I mean, hey, who said that?
Ow! Ow! Ow!
What the hell? Who are you?
I'm Renee App, a supercomputer with Zendaya's abs, Bridget Medler's advanced degrees, and Victoria Justice's bitch attitude. I have the knowledge to, single-handedly save humanity. My grandmother was the polio vaccine.
Oh, Jesus, you're one of those techno optimists?
Huh? No. I'm the first AI trained on Finsta comments from teenage girls who cyberbully their classmates for sport. Jazoot?
What?
That's a slur you probably won't know about for 3 years, it.
Whoa! I know that one. But no, I said you're a techno optimist. The belief that technology will single-handedly save humanity, so any technological development is inherently good. You know, billionaire Mark Andreessen went off all about it last year in his 5,000-word screed, the Techno Optimist Manifesto.
Don't listen to Andreessen. He was on the Epstein flight logs. Maybe.
But you're saying the same thing. And it's not even new. Techno Optimism is why the internet is the Ellen DeGeneres of places. Superficially good, but actually so evil. And gay. And evil. From the dawn of the online age, people believed that the internet would fix society.
There is no race. There are no genders.
There is no age.
No age.
There are no infirmities.
But the idea that the internet was a raceless utopia let white nationalists like David Duke and his website Stormfront set up shop without regulations. They got a permanent foothold in the early internet, which led to fascism on 4chan and Reddit and a direct pipeline to Fox News. Techno Optimism did January 6th.
Ella, those olds didn't know any better. It was the 90s. They didn't have Jamilah to tell them all bodies are beautiful yet. But now we do. And the internet is amazing. You can connect with people all over the world who are different from you. In your case, people who have plans on a Friday night or more than one outfit.
Connecting all over the world, but cyberbullying beautiful women? You sound just like Mark Zuckerberg. Who, used that early techno-optimist rhetoric to spread Facebook faster and further than Timothée Chalamet spread chlamydia at NYU.
Facebook unites the world, Ella. It was created to connect, like everyone.
That's exactly what Timothy said he was doing that night at the Tisch Sober Improv Slam. To connect everyone. But finish that sentence. Zuck said he wanted to connect everyone as quickly as possible because network effects were massively important to Facebook. Network effect is the idea that a service gains power the more people use it, which sounds like good business, but is actually techno-optimist for global monopoly. It's like a Nigerian prince chain email for crypto-fascists. Hello?
Wow, sorry, I just got so bored I went to sleep. Go on. We were just talking about the free marketplace of ideas and Facebook's digital town square, where Nelly Furtado plays every night. Only the hits, promiscuous twice. Oh my God! Did you see her Tiny Desk concert? Thick, queen!
No, we were talking about how Facebook said its world domination is good for humanity, but really it means that they break into markets without proper preparation. Like my failed armed robbery of the Gowanus office depot. There's a reason there's no Ocean's 1. In Myanmar, Facebook's mission to connect everyone contributed to a genocide. In a push to expand to new markets, Zuck got Facebook pre-downloaded on the majority of devices in Myanmar. It was like when the new U2 album popped up on everyone's iPhones, but this time it made people homicidal. So exactly like the U2 thing. Facebook's algorithms famously boost anger-inducing content, but the company only assigned Myanmar one content moderator. One guy? For a whole country? That is not enough guys! I'm one guy and I can barely read the television. I mean teleprompter. Not to mention, Myanmar had just liberalized its military dictatorship. So naturally, the algorithm stoked so much racial hatred against Myanmar's Muslim Rohingya population that human rights groups eventually sued Facebook for inciting and aiding a genocide.
Suboptimal, sure, but oh look, mama, you got a text.
Oh my God. Rain Fisher Kwan just matched with me on Hinge. She wants to write a Substack about how I'm the reason Gen Z doesn't use dating apps. Wait, what was I talking about?
You were talking about how tech companies have improved quality of life worldwide.
No. No, I was saying that the rapid spread of big tech wreaked havoc on democracy in Myanmar and in America, but tech companies still claim they're doing the Lord's work. They preach effective altruism, which is a pseudo-philosophy that's obsessed with using math and logic to calculate the hypothetical maximum benefit of any charitable act, often at the expense of doing anything actually meaningful. Don't give a 20 to the unhoused guy on your street. Invest in something bigger. Roads around America are crumbling, but who gives a shit? Invest in Jeff Bezos' road to the moon. Effective altruism and techno-optimism are like if the twins from The Shining were 69ing.
Sounds hot.
No, it's not hot. It lets Silicon Valley guys pretend that they're philanthropists and convince people that instead of investing in community-informed solutions now, we should actually invest in their line of increasingly sentient Roombas that could hypothetically become the Messiah and save us all in a century.
Sure, there are some big dick idiots in the genius pond, but tech moguls are some of the biggest philanthropists in the world, Ella. Oh, look at tech daddy glasses Bill Gates.
Actually, Gates already has the money and influence to solve the problems he claims he wants to solve, but he's not using his money to do so. You know, it's like how I have the power to solve my loneliness, but I just can't bring myself to learn the pan flute to a lover. The World Inequality Lab has calculated that a tiny wealth tax on the crazy rich could collect $581 billion, which is 3 times the amount of current global aid. And the same tax on all millionaires would get $1.6 trillion, more than enough money to eradicate the world hunger immediately. But Bill yourself, Gates, isn't advocating for that wealth tax. His foundation claims that its bottom line is the lives saved, but he's just like Zuck, pretending to be a good guy while actually being a brings egg salad to the beach guy. Even the tech guys who do actual altruism are just spending amounts that are just tiny to them to justify the millions they're investing in the metaverse or in AI that's advanced enough to make a Taylor Swift who's actually gay. Tech philanthropy, like Gates's, and Techno Optimism both do PR for the wealth gap. They insist that it's good for all of us that 5 sweaty guys have the vast majority of money in the world. That the global economy that privileges their empires is good and moral and humanitarian, so you should shut up, stop protesting, and wait for the sweet, sweet rapture of the metaverse.
Oh, you are so beyond privileged, Bushwick Barbie. Ugh! Yammering on endlessly, criticizing as if these men you detest didn't create the very world you live in. Because of them, you can talk to your 2.5 loved ones anytime you want. You can post jarring nudes on close friends, forgetting that some of your work colleagues are on there. You can block your father's number on your iPhone. Can't do that on a rotary. You stand here with your limp wrists, uneven breasts, and untreated scoliosis. That's a 60-degree curvature for sure. And condemn the very innovations that make your everyday immeasurably better. It's all for you, sweetie.
I know, and I'm sick of it. I'm addicted to my phone, my data is being sold to fund multinational corporations that I'll see no profits from, and my attention is permanently shot. I'm so sick of this tech, I opt out!
Half the world's population doesn't have internet access. 2/3 of the world's children don't. It's a privilege. You should be grateful.
Okay. Yeah. Technology can vastly improve living conditions. I couldn't run my show or live my life or take my Skillshare class on unethical non-monogamy without it. But if I can't meaningfully participate in the education system or the economy without it, it's not a privilege, it's a right.
Oh my God. Wake me up when she's done.
The FCC has found that in America, access to the internet is a super determinant of health. If there were actual competition amongst internet providers in poorer countries, it would drive prices down, and lack of internet access would decline by more than half today. But internet providers rely on big tech's infrastructure, and big tech relies on monopolies, so it can't have competition. It's all a big web, a big, terrible, f***ed up web starring Dakota Johnson, who, by the way, never invited me to her birthday party. Companies don't actually care about connecting everyone. They care about profit. And they want you to accept the grossly unequal system that generates that profit.
Oh my God, you're breaking up. Low battery. Good night.
That's our show? Wait, no, hold on. I want to end on a more positive note. For the first time since their inception, big tech companies are slowing in growth. The government is trust-busting Apple, and we're waking up to the ways that phones are exploiting our attention and how the little hot or not app that could is probably bad for democracy. AI is on the rise, but so is techno-skepticism. We're waking up to the fact that tech does improve living conditions, but also traps us. So when you're spending hours of your one wild and precious life watching TikToks to try to find out what a baby Gronk is and how to rizz it up, remember that the beta version of this guy is melting your brain to justify global capitalism. We have to have a relationships with the phones, but let's make it a more consciously oppositional one. Use it as a tool and then try to connect with our communities offline to hear about what would actually make their lives better. Or you could watch Late Stage Live on YouTube.com, or Patreon.com, or Instagram.com, or if you're our mom, Facebook.com. The internet show that is better than the real world, will fix your up life, and does care about you personally.
Yes, now you're getting it.
That's our show! Thank you so much to Parikh, to our patrons, to Reid, Skylar, our writers, our live studio audience, and of course to Daddy Mark Zuckerberg himself. Good night! Hi, thanks so much for watching Late Stage Live with Ella Yurman. That's me, Ella Yurman. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, maybe even throw us a bone and share it around, or leave a comment down below if you're nasty. If you want to support our production needs and help us keep making indie, queer, leftist, late-night comedy, you can head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/latestagelive. That's patreon.com/latestagelive. End of video.